calling this look Fire and Ice, Jorge, because of the orange glitter and the blue eyes. Hey, hi, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 6, Episode 3. And I'd like to start off by thanking this week's tipper-doos. First off, Vito Bocuzzi, whom I haven't talked to in a while. I hope all's well with you, Vito. Seriously. Also, Michael Bercantino wished me a happy Canada Day and was hoping I was staying cool. He must have seen my recent viewer mail video where my face was slowly melting into my neck. Not that anyone mentioned it to me. I am trying to stay cool, Michael. That's why I'm wearing this off-the-shoulder loveliness today. And finally, I want to send a hug to April Pemberton Holden, who's having a bit of a hard time recently. And I just want to say, you're not alone, April. Your Fingerdoo family loves you and hopes things are getting better soon. Seriously. Hugs. Okay, now, Jorge, drink me. Oh, this is almost a two-hander with three. What is this? It's a vat of gin and tonic? Well, all right. I want to send a thank you to Sean, who sent me this lovely glass in the hopes that it would keep my hands looking dainty. I think the nails help, I'm just saying. So does this, just saying. Now, let's get to it. We started this episode off with a very happy Raja, who was not only celebrating winning last week's Maxi Challenge, but also winning the lip sync for Your Legacy and $20,000. Here's to Raja, seriously. But there was some bitterness with Yara's sweet win because Jiggly had been eliminated, a fact that at least Yara was grateful for. Of course, the queens had to check the black box and see who voted for who, and some were surprised it wasn't a clean sweep. Of course, Jiggly voted for Yara, but there was a second lipstick with Yara's name on it. Trinity let it be known that it was her vote. I see where she was coming from when she explained that her decision was due to Yara's lack of applying herself to the task at hand, but none of the other queens seemed to buy it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you spend the whole day making a piñata dress while someone else spends an hour or two making a gown, that doesn't mean they want it more. Seriously. Of course, everyone, Yara included, would have accepted Trinity's vote easier if she'd just gone ahead and admitted that she voted for Yara because Yara voted for her. Either way, those two queens were even now. I don't know if they saw it that way, but they were. Ginger was still struggling over her decision to vote for Jiggly. She felt that Jiggly would feel betrayed, but Ginger couldn't have voted for Yara with a clear conscience, so here's to Ginger. It was the right thing to do. The next day in the workroom, the queens bid Jiggly a fond farewell and got down to business trying to guess what was next for them. And, well, they didn't have to wonder for long because there was Ru with this week's video message, which was about paying the bills and having skills. Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, Ru showed up to tell them. This week's Maxi Challenge was all about the side hustle. To break the queens up into teams, Ru had the queens line up smallest to tallest and divided them into 3 teams. Team 1 was Ginger, Akiria, Silky, and Jan. Their side hustle was Rent-A-Queen. Team 2 was Trinity, Pandora, Yara, and Raja. Their side hustle was Drag Fixers, which left Kylie, Scarlett, and Eureka in Team 3, and their side hustle was Drag Exorcists. Right away, the queens got down to work on their side hustles. Over on Team Drag Fixers, Pandora took the reins and started coming up with ideas. Apparently, she worked at a TV station in Rochester writing promos and commercials. Look out, all you other teams. It looks like it's finally Pandora's time to shine, seriously. The only drawback for Team Fix-It Bitch seemed to be, well, Yara Sofia. She's crazy. Or, as Trinity called it, neglectic, which I'm sure is the opposite of eloquent. Raja was worried, but not about the same thing. She wanted to be sure that there was no ill will between Trinity and Yara, which they assured Raja there wasn't. Just good old-fashioned concern on Trinity's part. Because Yara's crazy. Over on Team Exorcists, their biggest worry was trying to remember that arm curls are not crunches. God, I hate a skinny girl who doesn't have to work at it. Mind you, I don't work at it either. Although Eureka was clearly the biggest personality on that team, she seemed to be doing a great job of suggesting and listening, even though Kylie wasn't feeling very confident. Team Rent-A-Queen had the biggest personalities of all the teams, with Jan and Ginger and Silky. Although, as the ideas started flying, Akira was outshining Silky in the personality department. For some reason, Silky seemed to be taking a back seat as far as coming up with ideas was concerned. She seemed to feel that her teammates were overthinking things and creating complications unnecessarily. But she didn't say anything. And then it was off to film their side hustles. I have to admit, I was worried for some of these queens because I didn't feel that they were given much time to come up with anything. Thankfully, Michelle and Ross were on hand to direct. Up first, Team Drag Fixers. For the most part, they seemed fairly organized and focused. There were a few technical issues like which camera they were supposed to be looking into and, well, Yara Sofia. But other than that, Team Drag Fixers set the bar very high. Mostly because they had a slogan. Fix it, bitch! I'm going to start using that with you. The drag exorcists were also fairly organized, although only having 3 teammates helped to keep them focused, I'm sure. They also had a few camera angle issues, and Michelle had to help them out with the wording of their script. And of course, there was that moment when Eureka broke the bed, but nothing that couldn't be smoothed down in editing. Seriously. Last to shoot was Team Rent-A-Queen. They definitely had a few more issues to deal with. Script wording, special lotion effects, and an almost endless list of scene and costume changes, including Jen going from full face to boy drag. But they got through it, even if Silky gave up a few of her roles to facilitate filming. And then it was Elimination Day. Scarlett was feeling good about her team's commercial. So did Trinity, who, despite her initial worries about Yara, felt they had done a good job too. Even Raja thought things had gone well despite her worries about Trinity and Yara being able to get along. As the queens got ready for the runway, Ginger and Jan had a mutual admiration society moment together. They both felt that they came from a similar place where their drag was concerned, and Jan really appreciated that. Ginger was so confident that she promised to give Jan $1,000 if she won the lip sync. As long as Jan did the same if she won, just saying. Silky was the only one who seemed to not be feeling confident. Due to all the negative reactions she received after season 12, she felt she'd allowed herself to be diminished for the sake of her group, and now she was concerned that it would be reflected in the judges' critiques. Poor Miss Silky. Here's to you, Big Silky. Don't let anyone tell you how to be, doll. Seriously. She could use one of these. And then it was time for the runway. Ru looked beautiful despite the randomness of her gathers on that blue sequin fantasy. By the way, the randomness of her gathers was the name of my one-woman show in high school. Michelle looked extra elegant in her short updo and off-the-shoulder combo, while Ross was perfection in his dark-toned plaid jacket. And joining them on the judges panel this week, looking extra lovely in her metallic horizontal stripes, was the deliciousness known as Tia Mowry. I just love her. This week's category, Redemption looks. Kylie was first in what was called redemption on her Lady Gaga look for Snatch Game, but to be honest, I thought she looked more like an honorary Muppet. There was a lot going on with this look for me. The pink puffs, the leopard print patches. It was a fun look, but I wasn't a fan, so I had to give her a finger don't. Could you see Lady Gaga wearing that? I couldn't. Next was the breathtaking Scarlett Envy in a Botticelli printed Grecian gown that was a fabulous redemption for her season 11 entrance outfit. I didn't like that entrance outfit. I felt it needed pants or something, but there was nothing this runway needed, which is why I gave her a Fingerdoo. It was total perfection! I didn't see how Eureka's runway was a redemption on her faux fur runway of season 9. This was just different. In fact, the only redemption I would give her would be for her makeup. So I gave her a finger don't. Raja was another one who took my breath away. Her redemption of her unconventional farm to runway burlap look from season 11 was stunning. I love that she was still using burlap for the wrap. Finger do for Raja. Seriously. I didn't see how Pandora's runway was a redemption on her Team Unity look from All Stars 1. Short of being blue and green, there was nothing about this look that said it was a redemption. It was just totally different. I still didn't like it, no offense. It felt like she took an existing dress and added some green elements to it to make it work, so I gave her a finger don't. Sorry. I loved Yara Sophia's look. I don't know how much of a redemption this was for her season 3 promo look, but at least it was made out of black lace. Still, Fingerdoo for Yara, seriously. Trinity's redemption of her season 6 promo look was too different for me as well to be a true redemption, but that doesn't mean I didn't like it. Fingerdoo for Trinity, seriously. Although I liked Jan's redemption of her season 12 entrance look, there was something missing from it for me. It was too simple, but not so simple that I didn't give her a well-deserved Fingerdoo, seriously. Oh my god, how I hated Ginger Minj's runway. This was in no way a redemption. In fact, it was worse than her Future of Drag look from All Stars 2. I thought it looked more like Darien Lake's elephant dress than anything, and I don't mean that in a good way. Why she felt the need to wear pants is a mystery to me. The way this look was cut made her look even shorter than she really is, bless. I had no choice but to give her a finger don't. Seriously. I like Silky's runway, but what it had to do with her drag family value look from season 11, I'll never know. I gave her a Fingerdoo because she did look better. I mean, if different's better. Last but not least was Akira C. Davenport, who got a Fingerdoo from me for her redemption of her Caftan Realness runway from season 11, solely based on the fact that she was actually wearing a caftan. Seriously. And then it was time to watch the commercials. The exercise queens were first. This was fun, quick, and cute. Eureka was set up to steal the show, but I thought Kylie and Scarlett did a great job as the Vapid Health Bunnies, which was never my drag queen name in high school. Ever. Team Fix-It Bitch were next, and a total hoot. The fact that they never really seemed to fix anything except maybe Yara's tuck was fabulous. I actually laughed out loud a couple of times, and here's to Trinity for doing a way better acting job than season 6, I just say. Finally, we had Rent-A-Queen. They were fun too, although I did have a few issues. Okay, mostly Jen's overacting. There, I said it. And then it was time for the judging. Although in recent team challenges, the queens were judged individually, that wasn't the case here. Ru wasted no time declaring the Fix-It Bitches the best commercial and Trinity the winner of the challenge. Because they were the best commercial, the whole team was safe, so they frigged off to the Untucked lounge. Here's to the Fix-It Bitches. Seriously. To say that Trinity was pleased was an understatement. Winning this challenge was a huge boost to her confidence. Back in the Untucked Lounge, the team also praised Pandora for being so instrumental in her win. Here's to Pandora. Right away, the queens got down to wondering who was going to be in the bottom. Raja called out the exercise queens as the winning team, but Trinity felt their commercial was more of a movie than an ad. As for Team Rent-A-Queen, Pandora thought the standout was Ginger. Trinity felt that Scarlett and Kylie were at risk. Raja felt it was going to be Silky and Akira, which made her emotional because they've been good friends and helped her get through the fallout she experienced after season 11. In other news, the queens had so much fun working with each other that they thought they should continue the good feelings and write a song together. Hell, I'd buy it. Back on the main stage, the judges all loved Kylie, although Michelle felt she could have come out of her shell more. Scarlett was another fave of the judges. Ru couldn't say enough about how much she loved her dress. Michelle even went so far as to say she reminded her of Sophia Loren. Tia Mowry felt that Scarlett forgot the camera was even there, and, well, she meant that in a good way. Seriously. Eureka was another favorite of the judges, although Michelle called her out on having too much going on around her face and neck in her runway look. She's not wrong. Tia said Eureka stole that commercial for her and that she had a natural timing for comedy. Michelle liked Jan's redemption look, but said that she looked a little matronly. Ross felt she missed an opportunity to steal the show during her commercial, which I'd have to agree. Maybe she tried too hard. As for Ginger Minj, everyone loved her as well, although Michelle agreed with me about her pants cutting her off in a weird place. Also, can we have a cheers for Michelle for calling out Ginger on her highlight? God, I'm so glad someone said something. I was starting to think it was just me. Or at the very least, my TV. Seriously, do you know how much that thing cost? Cheers to Michelle. Next was Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Ross didn't see how her runway had anything to do with her drag family values look, but he didn't care. He loved it so much. Tia felt that there was a spark missing from Silky's performance, and Michelle agreed. When Ru asked her about it, Silky shared how difficult it was for her after her season of Drag Race, and that she was taking a back seat to her own performance because of all the critique she got for taking the air out of the room. It broke my heart. Here's to Silky. Seriously, Silky. As for Akira, Ross was over the moon that she was wearing an actual caftan this time and not whatever it was she was calling a caftan on season 11. As for her performance, Michelle could feel her nerves while Tia loved what she did and wished she could have seen more. And then Ru announced that Team Rent-A-Queen were in the bottom and they were all up for elimination, which meant Kylie, Scarlett, and Eureka were safe. Back in the Untucked Lounge, Ginger was beyond upset over being in the bottom, but that couldn't stop her from congratulating Jan for breaking her safe streak and dragging her whole team down with her. The rest of the room was gagged to hear that all of Team Rent-A-Queen were up for elimination. Trinity was gagged that no one had congratulated her on her first win ever. Although she had a point when she said that Raja got praised and Yara got praised, the queens were feeling caught off guard to hear Trinity's observation. So, to nip the potential meltdown in the bud, Raja got all the queens to give kudos to Trinity. And then Trinity did a 180 and told all the queens that just because they were in the bottom, that didn't make them bottom queens. See, Trinity gets emotional and then makes a good point. Ginger was worried because Trinity often compliments queens in one moment and then tears them down in the next. She's nice about it, at least. Akira got very emotional at the prospect of getting eliminated. So did Jan. Well, so did Silky, but she seemed to put her emotions on the back burner to help make Jan feel better. Again, a back seat for Silky. As the queens all voted, we saw that Ginger and Silky voted for Akira, while Akira voted for Silky. Something else that happened in the Untucked Lounge was Scarlett and Raja throwing their past conflicts away. They both apologized for butting heads on season 11, but Raja took it one step further by saying that the anger she was showing to Scarlett had nothing to do with her and that she was truly sorry for projecting it on her in the first place. It was a touching moment to see, and I'm glad they had it. Seriously, here's to Scarlett and Raja. Also, here's to personal growth. Seriously. Back on the main stage, it was revealed that this week's lip sync assassin was the one and only Laganja Estranja. Even though Laganja tore up that stage, Trinity did not make it easy for her. But when it was all said and done, I wasn't surprised that the winner was Laganja Estranja. And whose lipstick did she have, you ask? Well, sadly, it was Miss Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Ru was visibly disappointed, but it didn't stop her from asking Silky to sashay away. On her way off the stage, Silky had some touching words to share with everyone. It was the most emotional goodbye of the season, for sure. Here's to Silky. I'm going to miss her, I'm just saying. But of course, we weren't going to miss her for long, because as she was packing up, Ru's video message reminded her that there was still a game within the game, and it wasn't the last any of us were going to see of Silky this season. So, what do you think? Did the right queen get the chop? Did Akira dodge a bullet? Should the Rent-A-Queen queens have even been in the bottom? Who do you think will be the next to go? All we can do is tune into RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 6 next week to see how it all plays out, and then, when you're done, you come on back and you see me so you and I can compare notes. Now, don't forget to like this video if you did by giving it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Doing either and or both will really help get my videos seen by more people. And until next week, miss me! Mwah! Seriously. It's a lot of alcohol. I'm just saying. It's more like a bird bath than a glass. Poor Silky. I'm not going to deny that she was annoying on her season, but I don't think that's reason enough for her to not be herself. I'm worried for Jan too. There's something about Jan I think that's very Silky-esque in that I think she's carrying a lot of people's opinions with her this season, and it's not stopping her from being how she was on season 12, but It's keeping her from being fantastic. She's good. She's just not fantastic. She wants to be. You can see it. She can taste it. She's not getting her lips around it. You heard me. God, if this heat doesn't break soon, I'm going to have to do this show naked. Thank God it's a tight shot. Which, again, was never my drag queen name in high school.